Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unposted podcast. My name is Liz Bezler, if you're new here, and thank you so much for tuning in today. I am very excited for this episode. It is actually a part 2 of last week's episode, so if you haven't listened to last week's, make sure to check that one out, but it's okay. You can still listen to this one because they kind of both go hand in hand. You don't have to listen to the first one to know what's going on in this one because it's all about self-love and how to love yourself. I always say that loving yourself and learning to love yourself is truly a lifelong journey. So join me today as we go through a few different ways to practice self-love and to help us love ourselves more. So in last week's episode, I did 5 ways to practice self-love, and today I'm going to do 5 more ways to practice self-love. Number 1 today is accept your imperfections. Nobody is perfect, okay? I know that sometimes scrolling on TikTok and social media, you look at people's lives and you think, wow, their life is perfect. But I promise you, you're only seeing the perfect parts of those people's lives. A lot of people don't share what they're truly going through online. Social media is a highlight reel. Everybody has flaws and imperfections that we're all insecure about and that we want to work through. You know, I'm still working on accepting my imperfections. It's a lifelong battle. I think we all can relate to that. Like for me, growing up in a dance studio and with gymnastics and sports and different things, like I've always been so critical of my body and how my physique is. And it's something I am still working through today. You know, like I can look at the mirror and be super skinny and still think, oh, I look fat. Like, and everybody's like, Liz, what the freaking heck are you talking about? You're so tiny. And in my mind and how I see myself, it's just never good enough. And that's how I've kind of felt my whole life, is that it doesn't matter what I look like, you know, I'm always going to pick at it and I'm always going to find things that are imperfect. And I think today's world of social media makes it even more difficult because people call it out. And it's even worse to like know you're imperfect in these ways. Of course, nobody's perfect. It's like ridiculous to even have these expectations. But to know, like for me, my hairline is something I'm very insecure about. Like I've been insecure about it my whole life. I haven't vocalized it until the last several years, but I've always slicked my hair back into a tight ponytail since I was like a little kid, like with gymnastics and dance and everything. And I really feel like my hairline is wackadoodle. And, you know, it's something that I've like told my mom, I was like, I feel like wearing my hair in these tight ponytails is like not good for your hair. And we know it's not, of course. But of course, my mom was like, no, your hairline doesn't look bad at all. And I'm like, yes, it does. And then I get so many comments on my TikTok and social media about my hairline. And, you know, it's something that as much as I'm trying to work through it, and recognize, you know, maybe I shouldn't put my hair up in a ponytail as long, but also it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Like I'm not balding. I just have a thinner hairline because I've slicked it back to be able to do my sports and dance and gymnastics. Like, yeah, it's going to take a toll on it. And unfortunately, it is something I'm super insecure about, but I try to ignore it. And then I see a comment on my TikTok that's like, your hairline, oh my God, girl, you're going bald. I'm like, and it makes me that much more insecure. Like, I think that's like the one thing, like, I'll get comments on that really trigger me. And it's just recognizing, you know, people are mean online and you just really have to ignore them, but also realizing that, you know, I'm not perfect and I have so many things about myself that I wish were different, but those imperfections are what makes you so beautiful and unique because God created you as you are. Like God created you exactly how you're meant to be and how you're meant to look. And the beauty standards that people have set on everybody, especially women, are unrealistic, truly unrealistic. And it's really hard to be in this world as a woman with so many beauty standards. And I wish everybody would just look at themselves in the mirror and be like, you know what, I have acne, or I maybe have stretch marks, or maybe I have a rounder face or a receding hairline, or, you know, whatever it is. I wish people would just look in the mirror and think, God created me like this. It's beautiful. I'm beautiful in his eyes. And these stupid standards that everybody holds everybody to are made up. We made them up. Like, that's what I don't understand. I'm like, we literally made this up. Who is making these up, these beauty standards? Like, you're beautiful just as you are. And the second you can start accepting your imperfections is the second that you're going to start loving yourself so much more. You know, for the longest time, I hated my freaking toes. Like, so weird. Like, so weird. I have a really rounded big toe. And I've always been insecure about it. I was made fun of it in high school. I would never wear flip-flops. Like, I still don't really love them. But you know what? I've gotten to a point where I'm like, those are my freaking feet. I like them. They're cute and little and petite. And like, that's how I wish like everybody could like see themselves. Like, you know what? I have a big nose, but God bless me with that nose. I'm not going to change it. Who is making this standard that everybody needs this tiny little button nose? Like, we are creating those standards for each other. Like, God didn't create those standards for you to have to reach. Otherwise, he would have given you that perfect little button nose. But little do you know that that beautiful long nose that you have is gifted from God, and it's for you specifically and nobody else. Like, that is you. So anyway, gonna go off my little rant for a second, because really accepting your imperfections. Like, we're not perfect. We're never going to be perfect. Like, you could have all the procedures done in the world, but how you were made and how you were born is your most beautiful self. And I know that because God knows that, and God created you that way. So stop letting social media decide what's beautiful. We get to pick what's beautiful. Love yourself for you are. And I'm telling you, it's not outside beauty that makes somebody beautiful. It's somebody's heart, and how you walk into a room and how you enter a room and how that light reflects off of you and can help change somebody's life. That light and that positive energy and that self-confidence can change somebody else's life. So stop nitpicking on stupid physical appearances and your imperfections, and start seeing them as beautiful, because they are. And again, it's your heart that's beautiful, not your physique. Number 2, invest in personal growth. I don't know about you, but anytime I want to better myself, I always look to learning something new. I'm always like, okay, I want to learn something new. I'm getting bored with my life or the things that I'm doing. Like, I want to expand my knowledge. I want to expand my skill set. And I really do think that's a perfect way to love yourself better, because I don't know if you're like me, whenever I decide I want to do something, like, I want to be good at it and I want to put all of my energy into it. Like, when I decide I'm picking up a new hobby, like, I'm taking it seriously because I want to be the best I can be. Maybe that's not a good thing all the time because I get super competitive, but I want to be my best self. I want to constantly be learning and getting new knowledge and be able to apply that into my life every day. Find something that you can grow in. That literally can be anything, and it doesn't have to be a sport, right? It doesn't have to be working out. It could be like, you know what? I really want to learn marketing. Like, I want to learn how to market myself more. I want to learn how to create content on TikTok. Like, anything. I want to learn how to cook more. I want to learn how to knit or to sew or to write a book. Like, all of those things are growth oriented. It doesn't matter what it is. Hobbies are meant to expand your knowledge and help you grow as an individual. What I love about picking up something new is it gives a fresh perspective on goal setting for me. Whenever I pick up something new, I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't have pressure to be the best in the world at this, or to go to the Olympics at this, or to go on MasterChef with this, with my cooking. So maybe my goals is I'm going to pick up cooking for fun. And maybe it's just for fun and an experiment to start with. But then as that progresses, I'm going to start setting goals like, you know what? I want to be able to provide healthy, nourishing meals for my boyfriend or my husband or my family or my kids. Or I want to host dinner parties for my friends and my families and bring a community together. Like, or I want to cook 7 days a week, at least one meal, like one full meal that's really good, really nourishing. Like, that is a goal. And that's what's so amazing with any type of hobby is you can turn those hobbies into goals, which then once you reach those goals, that is growth, and that brings more self-confidence, which again, we all know how I feel about confidence. Confidence is something that just radiates from somebody. Confidence is inspiring. I don't care what anybody says. When you see somebody that's confident, it inspires you to want to be a better person. Confidence rubs off on people. It really does. Even if you're insecure about it, you look at them and you're like, I want to be like that, which then in turn helps with personal growth and development. So find a hobby that inspires you, that makes you want to be a better person, and start small and set goals for yourself. And you're going to start feeling so much more confident. You're going to feel accomplished, and you're just going to keep that cycle over and over because we have a long life. There's so much to learn, and there's so many things we can be passionate about and find joy in. And, that is a big part of our self-love journey, is just finding joy in the day-to-day things and in the little things that we do. And another thing that has helped my personal growth is taking Magic Mind shots. Magic Mind is a mental health performance shot. I've been taking Magic Mind for about 2 weeks every single day. And let me tell you, this shot has made the world of a difference when it comes to my productivity and personal development. Magic Mind is an herbal supplement that provides natural energy. There's so many distractions in the world. I don't know if you're like this, but when I'm on the go or I'm getting work done, there's just so many things being thrown at me all the time. It's like text messages, emails, you're scrolling on TikTok. You have a whole checklist of things to do. So many things that it's so difficult to stay focused on what you're doing and your one task that you have to get done. That is my biggest issue, is I have a ton of tasks and a ton of things that I want to do every single day, and I want to get done and I want to stay focused, but I have a very, very difficult time actually staying focused and not getting distracted by all the other things I have to do. So I'll start on one thing and then I'll be in the middle of it, and then I'll get a text message about another task I have to do, and then I'll switch to that, and then I don't finish the first task. It's like an ongoing cycle that I found was so exhausting. People always say high stressed people are better performers and get more stuff done. And I really just want to push against that for a second, because this Magic Mind shot has made me so focused. Whenever I would drink my cup of coffee, it was like, okay, I have energy. I need to get stuff done, But because I had so much of that anxious energy, I could never stay focused on one task at a time. That cup of coffee with all of that caffeine made me stressed. And in the work scenario, being stressed and having tasks that you have to focus on do not mesh together. And it's not good for your mental or your physical health. So with Magic Mind, it gives you that energy, but it gives you that focus. So it's not a chaotic feeling when you drink this, but you still get that boost of energy that you would have gotten from your coffee, because there is 55 milligrams of organic caffeine. So it's the good stuff. And it's all for mental performance. So if you have a lot of work to do, you have a lot of stuff you got to get done, this shot is going to help you out so much. Truly 15 minutes after I take this, I'm focused, I'm locked in, and I'm not bouncing around to my 10 different tasks within a 5-minute span. So with that being said, let's take our Magic Mind shot together. Boom. Delicious. It tastes good. It goes down easily. Don't let the world tell you that you have to be a chaotic, stressed out maniac to get work done. That is not a good combination. And again, it's not good for our mental health, right? This podcast is all about mental health. This is a mental health shot. Let's go. Black Friday's this Friday, so now is your perfect opportunity to grab yours for a discounted price. You can use my code LizBezler20 at checkout for 48% off your first monthly subscription, or 20% off your one-time purchase. Because guys, you're going to need to get the subscription, because once you try this, you're not going to want to go back to your little morning coffee, because you're going to feel so much better and you're going to get so much more work done, and your mind is just going to be at peace. So anyway, it's all in my description. Check it out there. Magic Mind, mental performance shots. Thank you, Magic Mind, for actually creating something that is good for our mental health and our mind and our focus and our productivity. I love you guys. Number 3 is to surround yourself with positive influences. I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but you are who you hang out with. Birds of a feather flock together. Have you ever heard of that? I'm sure we all have heard of that, and it's so true. But today's day and age, it's not just who you hang out with in your daily life, but in today's world, it is not just who you see, who you call, who you text, who you hang out with and see in person. It is also your community that you're building on social media. There are people that are in your life right now. I know it because I have them too. There are people in your life right now that do not serve you, and they cause you stress and anxiety, and they don't add joy to your life. And as hard as it is to cut those people out of your life, I get it. You don't want to cut them out. You don't want to stir the pot, but it doesn't have to be dramatic. That's the thing. Like, you need to put yourself first. And if somebody is not adding joy into your life, you need to cut them out. And I'm telling you that as a big sister. If they are bullying you, talking negatively to you, are not inspiring you, are not adding somewhat of value to your life, you need to cut them out. Now, if they're a good friend and they're supportive and they're there for you and they make you laugh, but maybe they're not offering anything educational or whatever, like, that's still a good person to keep in your life. Keep people that add value. You have so many different boxes of friends and people that you should have in your life. You have your work relationships. You have your family, that's really there for you through thick and thin. You have friends that can give you advice and support you. And you have people that you just strictly learn from. Like, you're strictly, they're your mentor. Like, you need people like that in your life as well. But people that are negative, are not aligned with your path, are putting you down, bullying you, any of that, or they come across your page on Instagram and you're like, you know what, this makes me feel really insecure. You're allowed to put yourself first. If somebody makes you feel insecure, even if they haven't done anything to you personally, maybe they're the best people in the world. If they make you feel like crap, cut them out of your life. It's not personal to them, it's personal to you. There are so many people I have had to go onto social media and unfollow because it triggers me. Maybe their body's so skinny and it makes me, think really negatively of my body and affects my eating habits. If I have to unfollow that person, maybe they're the nicest human in the world, but if I have to unfollow that person because it triggers me and my mental health, then I will. And that is the amount of self-love you have to have for yourself to know that it's not personal to that person. It's personal to you. It's, I'm trying to be a better person. I'm trying to be happy in my body and in my life because you're the only person that has to live in your mind for the rest of your life and be with yourself all the time. You are the only person that is with yourself forever. So respect yourself. Stop worrying about other people being like, oh, I don't know why she doesn't want to be friends with me anymore. It doesn't even have to be that deep. You can distance yourself. You can have a conversation. And if they're real friends and they really care about you, then they're going to understand. And they're going to be like, you know what? How can I help not trigger you? How can I not make you feel this way? Or, you know what? Maybe I have been mean to you and I'm sorry and I'm going to work on that. That's one thing. But again, if they're not adding joy, value, something to your life that is making you better or making you feel good, get them out of there. Number 4 is to forgive yourself from your past mistakes. And I struggle with this so much. I have so much guilt over things that I even have said or done back in high school. Like, I really do struggle with carrying the weight and the guilt of things. I don't know if you guys have ever been in a situation where you just cringe to think about in the moment and then after, but then it just lingers. Like, even situations like back in junior high and high school, I'll think of certain situations and I'll cringe. And letting yourself release those things and those thoughts and forgiving yourself is how you're going to move forward. And you're not going to be able to move forward and love yourself for who you are if you do not forgive your past. They always say we want to forgive and forget. Maybe we don't forget, but we forgive. And that's the most important thing to do for yourself, because I know you're doing that for other people. We are so quick to forgive others when they wrong us. Why are we so harsh on ourselves? We're not perfect. If God can forgive us for our sins and all the things that we do, then you can forgive yourself. And I'm speaking to myself. Right now. That self-lingering judgment really does impact your subconscious mind into how you operate on a daily basis. Forgive yourself. I don't care what it is. I don't care what you've done. I don't care who you've hurt. If they don't forgive and forget, that's okay. But you need to forgive and forget for yourself and for your peace and for your sanity. Because again, we're all growing, we're all evolving. And the second you can acknowledge, you know what, I made a mistake there and I don't want to be that person. Like, that is evolving. Like, that is growth. Like, I don't want to be that person. I acknowledge that that's what I did and I'm going to move on. And maybe I don't like how I handled that situation then, but I'm going to do better next time. Forgive, forget, try again, and move on. And last but not least, number 5 is staying true to your values. This world is crazy. The world really makes it near impossible to be able to vocalize your morals and your values without being put down or given a reason why you shouldn't believe that. My values don't have to match your values. But you know what one of my values is respect. And I can respect that we have different values and we have different morals and we view life differently. You know, there's the universal saying, treat others as you'd want to be treated. That is true. And that is equally true if somebody does not believe the same thing that you believe. You know in your heart what your values are, what your morals are, what you stand for. I challenge you to stand on that. I want you to reflect and revisit those core values. And maybe they're values that you were raised on, or maybe they're values that you have discovered later in life that you really stand on. But stay true to yourself and what you believe in, okay? Don't let other people tell you what you believe in. You don't just want your core values and your morals to be in your head. You want to act on them. Take action. It's going to enhance your self-worth, your self-confidence, and your love for yourself. So guys, that is the end of this episode. This was part 2 of your self-love journey. I thank you so much for being here. If you haven't, like, subscribe, follow on Instagram at Unposted Podcast. That would be very much appreciated. But I love you guys, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Happy Thanksgiving. I am so thankful for you guys and thankful that you are along for this journey and this ride. It means truly the world to me. Like, I can't even express it without wanting to cry, truly. Enjoy time with your families or your friends or whoever you're spending Thanksgiving with. And just know that here at Unposted Podcast, we are thankful for you and we love you and I love you and you are here and you're not alone no matter what you're going through. So you always have someone to message or talk to in case you're going through something and need a little extra advice or just somebody to listen. But anyway, okay. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. Thank you for listening and tuning in, and make sure to share this episode with a friend that might find value, that you think might find value from this. All right, guys, I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.